is and how I became a writer and how I started writing poetry. First of all, when my grandfather died in 2001, if I'm not mistaken, he died and I felt so much pain on the inside because my grandfather, he was so close to me, like my skin is to my bones, that close to me. And I felt that something had left me, that he was not in this life anymore, and I felt pain and I felt grief. So I needed a way to release myself. So I decided to write about my feelings on paper. And when I began to write about my feelings, then me and poetry became the best of friends. And so I appreciate God for allowing me to be able to write my feelings down, because even though he died, it seemed like something was birthed inside of me. You know, like they say, when death comes, after death there becomes life. And I felt like with him dying, life was birthed on the inside of me. And so I'm a shy girl from actually Gulfport, Mississippi, but when I begin to speak, the power of God begins to resonate to the people. Amen. Yes, I may have spoken poetry in different places, and I may have won awards for my poetry, but I give God all the glory, the honor, and the praise. No glory goes to me, but it all goes to God. And I'm going to tell you about this. So how I actually started speaking poetry is when I was at a church that I used to go to and I was a part of, and I thought that night that I was coming to the church that I was supposed to be teaching the youth choir. And so as I sat there, I realized that even though we were having a revival, I did not realize that I was not supposed to be there right then and there, but I was supposed to be there because it was God allowed that to happen. And so when I was sitting there in my seat and I was waiting for the service to start within an hour, they had a prophet that came from Florida, and he began to set the atmosphere, and he was speaking in tongues, and me and my mom was sitting there. And I always bring a bag with me, well, not a bag, but my poetry with me in a folder, in case somebody asked or I got stumbled upon. And so I was never going to say, hey, I speak poetry, hey, this is me, because that wasn't me. I was the shy little girl. I liked to just stay in the background. And so next thing you know, he came and sat down in the chair in front of me. And he said, God said, you got something to say. And I was like, well, I do write poetry. And he was like, tonight you're going to speak. And I was like, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I read my first poem called The World, and that was history. I've been speaking ever since. So God knows what we need. Hallelujah. And God knows that we can do whatever he requires us to do. As long as we give glory and honor to God, we all have something to take. And just like, I have a learning disability. You may not know it, but I was in the same IEP class, and they set us to the side so we can get an understanding of our lessons. But God, he can use anybody that he wants to use. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter your disability. It doesn't matter what you lack, because God said that he'll help you. He'll give you the strength that you need. He'll help you to overcome obstacles in your life that you never thought you could do by yourself. I give glory and honor to God, because I won't be standing here today without him by my side. My book is called My Life, My Thoughts, an Open Book. This is my life. These are my thoughts, and I am the open book. I'm not hiding nothing. I'm being transparent, telling you about true stories, telling you about what God has given me to speak to the people, what God has allowed me to speak to his people within churches and different atmosphere, transparent and showing you who I am. This is a poem out of my book, and I'm going to get out your way. It's called I Survived on Broken Pieces, and I know y'all can relate. Have you survived on broken pieces? I flourished amidst shattered raiments, acting to broken glass, pieced together and elevated in my resilience. Like glass transformed transformed into a work of art. I regained my sanity as my mind liberated itself from the truth that opposes the devil's deception, recalling the Lord's promise, you shall live and not die, and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. I cried the fragments of my life, and as if I drew my final breath from shattered dreams, unkept promises, lost friendships, and broken relationships. I plunged into the depth of these fragments, yet found a way to rise, standing tall on the remnants. I feel vibrant and alive, acknowledging that I have thrived on broken pieces, shattered lives, and remnants that seem worthless. I excel in healing my inner wounds as they are released from my outer self. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, I continue to become whole, embracing the truth that I fought for more than I was to reach my full potential. The survivor who thrived on fragments. I have taken those broken pieces and transformed them into an artistic master like Picasso, crafting my masterpiece from the shattered remnants. I have woven my broken pieces into poetry that resonate throughout the universe, offering breakthrough to those who can relate. I have survived on broken pieces